in any organization tend naturally toward one of three. People at all levels in any organization tend naturally toward one of three leadership styles: visionaries, operators, and processors. Processors, as you might gather from their name, are people who want to bring order to chaos. They like to put in place systems and processes. And their key goal is to A, squeeze out risk, minimize our exposure to risk, and B, to make sure that tomorrow we do better what we did today. Processors bring growth by iterative steps. And placed in a situation where they've got the right challenge, processors are an incredibly strong asset to any organization. Good examples of processor leaders are Vikram Pandit at Citibank. Warren Buffett has built an enormous business through his almost obsessive adherence to systems, process, and data, not allowing his emotion to decide what he's going to do next. Leo Apotheker, on the other hand, is an example of a processor leader who, during his time at Hewlett-Packard, was forced into a role with which he was uncomfortable, much more of a visionary role. Here's the key thing to understand about processor leaders if you work with them. Processors think to talk. When you communicate with a processor, they'll typically listen. They'll take everything in. And only if they think they have something that will add to the discussion will they then contribute. That means that processors tend to work a lot with neutral feedback. And sometimes it's very hard when you're working with a processor to know whether they're adopting what you've talked about, whether they think it's a good idea or not. And so what's really important with processors is that you learn the strength of summarizing and paraphrasing the discussion that you've had with them and encouraging them to give you some feedback as to what they think the best way forward is. And for you, if you're a processor leader, it's equally important for you to see the other side of the coin. Many times people will talk with you and they may leave not knowing precisely what your thoughts are on the matter. Now, of course, as a processor, that may be because you haven't quite yet worked out what way you want to go with a particular issue. You might want to run some data. You might want to take some other people's opinions into account. Even so, it's really important to engage with the individual that you've been speaking with and say, look, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure where I stand on this just yet. Let me do a little bit more work, but let's set up a phone call in a week or so, and I'll tell you what my views are. It's really important as a processor not to get stuck into just one-way communication.